Thanks for finding the Locked On NFL podcast on YouTube. Subscribe for great daily content like breaking down Sunday's incredible game between the Los Angeles Rams and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. To talk about it, the new host of Locked On Rams, Travis Rodgers. Make sure you're following along on Twitter at Travis Rodgers. And of course, listening to him free across all platforms, just like this podcast and on the YouTube as well for Locked On Rams. Travis, welcome. Brady rallies the Bucs back to tie the game at 27-27 with less than a minute left. Stafford hits Cooper Kupp on a 20-yard pass, a 44-yard connection that puts him in field goal range. Is this why they brought Matthew Stafford to L.A.?
I think that's exactly right, Bo. I think that, the Rams made it very clear during last offseason and really even before the offseason had started towards the end of the regular season and even in the playoffs that they did not think they were good enough at the quarterback position, that they felt like they were limited in what they were going to accomplish because Jared Goff didn't have the horsepower to do what Sean McVay wanted to do. They paid a very high price to do it. And the Rams went out and won the division, and everybody went, yeah, cool, do it in the playoffs. They went out and beat Kyler Murray and the Cardinals in the playoffs, and everyone went, yeah, cool, but that's not why you're here. Jared Goff beat the Seahawks in the wild card round last year. That's not why you're here. I've been saying it all week on Locked On Rams. I've been saying it all week on my show on ESPN LA that they brought him here to win that game, to go into a game where the other guy has a quarterback that is somewhere between very good to great. I think Tom Brady certainly qualifies to go onto the road and match him play for play, drive for drive, to be able to create some things that he does on his own, even when other things aren't going your way. Like, I don't know, 4 fumbles to kind of come and find a way to win the game anyway. And that's exactly what he did. Obviously, Rams fans still want to go to the Super Bowl. Rams think that this is a Super Bowl caliber team. They went all in. But yeah, you're right. They brought him here to win a game like they had in Tampa, and he did.
Yeah, you mentioned the 4 fumbles. I mean, the end of the year was Matthew Stafford who had the turnover problem, and then he was the guy that was one of the few not turning the ball over on Sunday. Was he the reason they survived by taking care of the football?
Absolutely. I said it on the pregame show today when we were getting ready to do it. I got 2 things. I said 2 things, and one of them turned out to be spot on, and one of them couldn't have been more wrong. I said that if Matthew Stafford doesn't turn it over, I think the Rams are going to win the game. The second part of what I said was because the Rams don't fumble. The Rams almost never fumble the ball. They just don't. They fumbled 4 times today. But yeah, I mean, without him, because it wasn't just that the Rams put it on the ground for it. There's never a good time to do that, obviously. But the fumbles they had were backbreaking. The first one from Cam Akers towards the end of the first half, if the Rams score a touchdown, that game's over. That game's 27-3 going into the half. And even if Tom Brady is Tom Brady, that thing's probably not going to go your way. Cam Akers picks up that first down towards the end of the game. If he just lands on the ground, that game's over. They take a knee. They're out the rest of the way. Ball comes out. Cooper Kupp, one of the most sure-handed guys in the world, fumbles in the open field. It was just the weirdest turn of events. But Matthew Stafford never once looked uncomfortable. He never once had a ball that when he let it go, you're thinking, no. He was just really good from the opening possession, was good all game, and then made those 2 amazing throws at the end to win it.
So Sean McVay coached teams were 45-0 going into the regular season finale. They, of course, dropped that one to the Niners. And they were leading, obviously, a pretty good margin in this game. Do they have maybe a finishing problem that's developing here?
Well, it's a good question. It's something like you said, 45-0 with the lead at halftime until the 49er game. So it feels silly to say. So what are they now, 46-1?
Right.
So that's pretty good. If you said to me, hey, you got a lead at half, you're going to 47 times, you're going to win 46 of them, I'd feel pretty good. But I think it's a fair question. When Tampa cut within 2 touchdowns, you could feel them tighten up. You could really feel them start to have that, hey, we got to do something here. I think they had a 31-second drive at some point that was 3 and out. It was really quick. It was telling. I think they'll go through it. I think they'll get better. This is the best of both worlds where you learn some really tough lessons, but you still won the game. Usually a lesson like this comes with you going home and you had to wait till next year. They still won the game. I do think that Sean McVay has gotten perhaps overly cautious against San Francisco at the end of the game, a little bit today, where all of a sudden, they weren't trying to run the offense that they were running in the first half. But I think maybe a finishing problem might be a step too far. 47-1 sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. I like those odds. Travis Rodgers, new host of the Locked On Rams podcast. Make sure you're checking out for more insight from Sunday's big victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and leading you up to that NFC Championship game. A grudge match, Travis, with the 49ers. Actually, not a grudge match. I mean, the Niners took both games in the regular season, 2-0 against LA. It's cliche, but the cliche exists for a reason. It's tough to beat a team 3 times. McVay 3-7 in his career against San Francisco. How can LA buck this trend next week?
Well, yeah, I think you're right, Bill. I think it's one of those. Yeah, it is cliche, but how about 6 times in a row? Because that's what they've done. I mean, they beat them 6 times in a row. So there's a couple of games in there that are a little bit misleading. The fact of the matter is, they're 6-0 against the Rams in their last 6 tries. The Rams looked like the better team for the first half 3 weeks ago. What that means, I don't know. We'll see. They still ended up losing the game, but I think they learned some things. I think that they finally had some success against them because prior to the first half of that game, not only had the Rams lost to the Niners a handful of times, they'd gotten pushed around in most of them. They didn't get pushed around in that last game. They need to find a way to deal with Deebo Samuel. He is their kryptonite. They've been pretty good at dealing with George Kittle since Jalen Ramsey has come over. They found a way to kind of get a matchup that they like right there, but they have no answers for Deebo Samuel. Neither did the Packers, so the Rams aren't alone in that. But yeah, I think that if they can find a way to make Samuel, human and not the best running back in football or wide receiver or whatever they list him at on any given day, I really do like their chances. The fans will be a big part of it too. We saw what happened at SoFi last time. It was 1 million 49er fans in the building, and it's kind of up to the Rams fans how they want to respond to that. Do you want to sell your tickets or not? And we'll find out in a handful of days.
The road to the Super Bowl goes through the NFC West on the NFC side of things. Cannot wait for it. Can't wait for the coverage from you, Travis Rodgers. It's going to be a great week of content on Locked On Rams, and of course, your radio show 710 LA in ESPN there. Travis, thanks so much. Always great to catch up with you.
Yeah, thanks, Bo.